show because we got to pick it up on air. This is the pre-show. Welcome to the 1 minute pre-show for Just Cool Enough.
Testing.
I can hear you.
Yeah. Can you hear me banging on it?
No.
No.
Damn.
Well, don't fuck around with it now because we got to do the show. By the way,
All right.
this show is explicit. I hope we have an explicit tag on alphageekradio.com. So I'm going to click a button here, and then I think we'll be live. But we'll see. All right. With any sort of luck, this might have worked. Big money, no whammy. 12 bytes written to file. I think this is working, guys. I think we're live at alphageekradio.com, which may allow our chat channel to be live too. So let's go check some things out.
Way to start the show.
All right, cool. All right, let's start the show. Hello, Internet. I'm Joe.
I'm Eric.
No. I'm Mike. I think I'm Mike.
And you're listening to Just Cool Enough. Yeah, this is a show now. I guess things are going okay.
No, things are going great because we have justcoolenough.com/live where the live listeners can join us each week at 6:30 Eastern Time, 4:30 Mountain Time, and I don't know what other times there are in the world now.
There are many. There are at least
Jamaican
20.
time.
I'm pretty sure there are 24 individual times throughout the world.
That would be amazing. I don't believe you, though.
I think it's scientifically fact that it is.
Okay, well, you know what? You can show me that when you Google something.
You know
Guys,
what? Let's just bet. Let's just restart.
guys, let's just restart the show. So, welcome to Just Cool Enough, the show where we talk about all this great stuff. If you want to email the show, you can. Our show email address is theshow@justcoolenough.com. Actually...
Hey, Joe. Since we may have people listening to the show for the first time through Alpha Geek Radio, why don't you explain what the fuck this show is?
You know, I actually, somebody asked me this week, they said, Joe, you've been doing a podcast for 5 years. What is your show about? And I said, well, I don't know. It's really hard to pin down. And then they said, so it's like Seinfeld. It's about nothing. I said, no, that show is genius. This show is not that. It's like everything that show pretended to be.
It's not like Seinfeld. I would say it's like Curb Your Enthusiasm, where it's like, you know, it's okay, but, you know, because Larry David made Seinfeld, we'll let him, like, because we did something really popular with World of Warcraft, like, people were like, yeah, we'll just keep going with this. It's okay.
Yeah, it's definitely not as good, but it's okay.
Just let them do their thing.
Right, so I don't even know if we could actually do a synopsis. We kind of just talk about the funny things that have happened on a weekly level. Like, I don't know, I'm deathly scared of bees, guys. Did you know this?
Why are you scared of bees?
Yeah, why?
Well, I'm just super scared of things that sting you and fly around and can, like, sting you in the eye. And
Why would they be stinging you in the eye of all places?
I don't know, maybe I'm antagonizing them. I'm not sure. But I went to...
Hey, bee, you're stupid. It's like, you're like, oh, my eye.
No, okay, so I went to a farm out in the hills of Pennsylvania,
Like
and
you.
they had like 4 beehives, and I was absolutely terrified of these beehives. But yeah, so like a bee farmer, and we have listeners that are bee farmers. I know Brady, one of our longtime listeners, and actually a donator too. Donate to the show at justcoolenough.com/donate, or go to the thing and donate our money. But anyway, yeah, so Brady is a bee farmer. Is there a word for that other than bee farmer?
Beekeeper?
Beekeeper. I knew it sounded wrong when I was saying it. But
I think...
they're actually really cool beans.
Yeah, bees get a super bad rap. People are like, oh my god, fucking Africanized killer bees. Fucking bees are totally fucking cool.
Yeah,
Bees
man.
just kind of want to like fucking hang out and do their shit. And as long as you don't fuck with a bee, it won't
Yeah.
fuck with you. It doesn't want to sting you. It wants you to leave it the fuck alone. So it just kind of, you know, it's like, hey man, I'll just fucking hang out. I'm gonna make some honey. You can have some of it if you don't be such
It's
a
actually going to
dick.
make some vomit, I believe is the word you're looking for.
Well, no,
Yeah.
the vomit is the inside. That's the comb.
No, there are two kinds. There's the comb and the honey. But yeah, they're like fucking. I'm just gonna make some honey. Just like don't be a dick, and maybe you can have some. Like,
Yeah,
you know, and it's like fucking hornets and shit. Those are the dicks. Because
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like
hornets are bees that don't make honey, and a specific like they're just pissed off. They're like fucking. I want to kill something. Like they're just angry all the
right.
time.
Yeah, they give bees a bad rap because everybody calls stinging things that fly bees.
Yeah.
And And like it's the wasps. I like saying that, like the plural.
And
of
let me
wasp.
just—we're talking about the insect wasp, because I remember one time we talked about wasps in length, and people thought we were talking about it's a derogatory term for somebody. I don't remember who, because I don't give a shit. But people were like, oh my god, what? That was weird. I was like, no, I mean like the actual insects, fucking wasps. You know, yellow and black, like fly around and go bzzz, create little nests.
I just try to antagonize people to make them make the noises of bees and wasps.
Well, see, like that's the thing. I didn't realize like honeybees are actually super chill. I mean, I did piss a bunch of them off, and the way I did that was I drove out into the hills of Pennsylvania to visit one of my work friends who works remotely out in the boonies of Pennsylvania, and he had a cool riding lawnmower, and I was like, Brian, please let me ride your riding lawnmower. And he said, Joe, go ahead. You can mow my yard. And I did. It was one of those cool, like, zero turns.
Free labor.
Yeah, I did. And I felt like I had to do something because he, like, gave me a tour of his farm, and he was making this dinner. He, like, killed a cow a year ago and had the meat and the vegetables and everything ready to go. I'm like, I got to do something for this dinner. So I offered to basically just have fun for, like, an hour and a half, just zooming down his, multiple acres, playing with this lawnmower. I felt like I was in a mech. You know what I'm talking about? Like the industrial strength lawnmowers.
Yeah, not like a John Deere thing.
No,
but like
no.
A serious, like drives like a tank where it's got a. Yeah.
This thing was sitting, and that's exactly it. I was like, oh my god. As soon as I got on this thing, I was like, this is what I need. This is what I've been missing out on. I started a company when I was 12 called Joe's Snowblow and Grassmow, and this is what I wanted it to be. I wanted to ride around on a lawnmower all day, and everything was perfect.
And then I had the stupid one driving around on snow with a lawnmower. This is great.
It's like, yeah, whatever. You gotta keep, but yeah, snow. I don't know, but I drove too close to the beehive, and I did piss him off. Like I was like, oh, I want to do a good job, so I'm trying to do a good job, and I drove really close to it, and then all these bees like swarmed out because they heard all this noise, and I was like, oh fuck, and I'm like, go lawnmower, go! This baby cuts at 14 miles per hour. It's amazing. So that was my experience out in the hills. The guy was like, usually I don't. The owner was like, usually I don't cut that close to the beehives, Joe. I'm like, oh, now you tell me. I'm like possibly allergic, super scared of these things. I'm just like timidly approaching with this like 20-horse lawnmower. Anyway, so that was a good time. If you guys want to be part of this chat and part of this show, go to justcoolenough.com/live, and there is an IRC chat channel. It is simple and easy to use, and you could join in just a few clicks. Even I'm in it. So go check it out.
That might scare them away.
Scared the listeners away like the bees.
They get all angry and they buzz away.
So have you guys ever been to a farm? Have you done any farm things? Like I made honey. I did the machine and put the honey racks in the centrifuge and spun it around and filtered honey, and I got to taste like some really fresh stuff. I'm just like a city boy. I don't do this stuff. You guys ever do any of that kind of stuff?
A little. I mean, I grew up in Northern California, and we weren't too far from stuff. So, not farming, but I've been to things like I've been to ranches and stuff like that. We were pretty close to so horseback riding and stuff like that wasn't a new thing for me, and so I've done a little bit of that stuff. Not in a long ass time, but yeah, it's interesting to see how the stuff gets made, just like how this stuff, like we're just so used to, you go to a store, you pick out whatever you want from the store, there's enough food for everybody, and it costs almost no money, and you can just have all your food, and then you never really think, where the fuck does any of this come from? Like I remember I was walking through like the meat aisle, and there's just so much meat, and I was like, this meat was probably killed from animals yesterday or the day before, and in 2 days any of this that wasn't sold will be thrown in the garbage. It's just amazing. Yeah, just how just how much food we get and how quick the turnover of food is.
So I think like if you look back at food prices pre-industrialized farming, like food was a lot more expensive in the
Yeah.
50s and 40s. It was way, and like that's not even pre-industrial. Well, like pre-refrigeration was even crazier. But how cheap food has gotten over the years to like where we are now. It's crazy. It's crazy how inexpensive it is, and it really like to go on a farm and do that stuff was like. It made me appreciate everything a little bit more, and especially the food I was eating. Like, I tasted a cow that was killed last year specifically to be turned into meat. And I'm like asking Farmer Brian, I'm like, Farmer Brian, do you ever name any of your cows? And he goes, no, I only name them beef. Or, like, or he started naming them just 1, 2, 3, 4, so he knows what he's going through. But yeah, it was just weird to think like I'm cutting this lawn. Also, when I'm cutting this lawn, I'm like brushing up really close to this fence. And Farmer Brian runs out and he's like, "Whoa, Joe, hey, hey, that fence is an electric fence, so don't like brush up against it or anything." After I've already gone like a bunch of passes around the area, I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" Like if I would have like hit a bump and like got tangled up in that fence, I'd be like, like a bug. Anyway, yeah. So
I mean, I remember I was at a farm once in my, like, this was a while ago, it was like 10 years ago or some shit, and there was just like a pile of like burnt wood, and I was like, what's all this? It's like, well, we didn't need our barn anymore, so we burned it to the ground. So watch out, there's a bunch of nails still there. That's just how they got rid of their barn. Like, it was an old barn, they didn't need it, so they set it on fire.
That's what you do. It's a farm. Now it's kindling. Ike, what about you? You ever do any farming stuff?
Can't say that I have. I mean, I've had relatives that have had farms, but I don't think I've ever done anything on those farms to help out. I'm not a big go out and get dirty type guy. One of my neighbors had bees, and he always showed me how he dealt with the bees because he made honey. So he had 2 big like honeybee things in his backyard, but I didn't really help him with those either. But it was really cool to watch him work on those. Like I could get within 40 feet while he was working with them, so I would get stung, but I never actually got in there.
So, did you ever get stung by a bee because of that guy?
No.
But I didn't get. I'm sure I mentioned it on the stream before that I hadn't got stung by a bee till I turned 28, and it was on my birthday at 4 in the morning.
At 4 in the morning, that's such an obscure time for bees to be outside.
I had to say this once, but
I don't remember this story, so
But we're on Alpha Geek Radio. It's like a whole new. You can tell all the stories that we've done for like the last 5 years. We can tell them all again. It'll be like new.
Well, we can at least repeat 287 episodes of content.
Can we just take a break for 5 years and just replay our episodes on there like once a week?
Well, yeah, I mean, somebody might watch this down the line and get enlightened by it because we're on Xbox One and Roku and all this great stuff. Anyway, the bees happened. Anyway, I'm turning 28, and I'm like thinking in my mind, I can make it to 30 without getting stung by a bee. This is something I said that day to Sarah, my lovely girlfriend, and she looks at me, laughs. She's like, God, you've been housed so long. I can't believe that you've lived your entire life without being stung by a bee. Anyway, 4 in the morning comes around, and I fell asleep on the couch like you do, and walking up the banister, and I put my hand right at the top of the stairway, and I feel the shooting pain go through my hand. I had no idea what it was. Turn on a light, and I see this bee sticking out of my hand, and I pick it out. I realize later it's actually a wasp, so I haven't been stung by a bee. But this damn wasp was in my house and stung me at 4 in the morning. I'm so excited that this happened. I ran in and I kicked the door open. I'm like, Sarah, you'll never believe this. I got stung by a bee. I'm sitting there in shock. I'm like, oh, I don't even know. I could be allergic. Am I going crazy? She's like, go to bed. Why did you wake me up? I'm like, do you not understand? This was a stealth bee. It was sent to destroy me at 4 in the morning on my birthday. It tried to take me out. Like, this is amazing.
It was the dolphins.
It was set by the dolphins. I don't know. I have no idea. But so that's how you get stung by a bee at 4 in the morning.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever mentioned, I've been stung twice, well, 2.5 times. Once, I remember I was at my babysitter's and they had a bee's nest and it might have been wasps, but I'm pretty sure it was bees, like, in her backyard, and I got stung in the back of the neck, and that was the first time. I was not super young. I want to say I was like, by that time, maybe 10 or 11. Maybe as much as 12. I don't. No, it had to be elementary school time because that's when because once junior high started, I didn't have a babysitter anymore. So I was like elementary school age. And then that was the first time. And then like maybe a year or two after, I don't remember exactly. There was a dead bee on the ground, and I was for some reason walking around my neighborhood without shoes on, and I fucking stepped on it. And so that one was on me. So I've only been stung, I would say, 1.5 times. But since then, I've been very respectful of bees.
Yeah, it teaches you things. So what have you guys been playing this week? Anything good?
Well, I went to the store today and a few days ago and picked myself up the Monster Manual and a DMG screen or DM screen, so that I could start my Dungeons & Dragons campaign on Saturdays. So
you are going to be a dungeon master. I know you were talking about this last week. I listened to the show. And thanks for actually putting something together so I could be occupied on the plane, guys. I appreciated that. But so now you're going to be a dungeon master, Ike?
I am. On Saturdays, I'm running a like in-game, real person as opposed to over the internet game. So I picked up one of those giant gridded out mats that you can roll out on the table, and I've been doing my.
Is it wet erase? Yeah.
Yeah, dry erase.
Yeah, dry erase. So be careful because sometimes people.
The wet erase. Now that's the interesting one.
Well, because you got to be careful because sometimes if you use the wrong marker, then you permanently fucking mark that thing up, and then yeah.
And then there's always like a goblin nest right there.
Yeah.
You can't. That's the immovable object.
Yeah, but that should be cool.
In every campaign.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. It's going to start up in 2 weeks. We're going to try to do it every Saturday.
Well, that sounds cool.
I'm trying to get ready for that. I was going to make my own campaign, but I decided this time around, just as I get used to the D&D format and whatnot, I went with the pre-made.
Yeah, and also the pre-mades are just they're real. I mean, Phandolin's really good. I hear some of the other pre-made ones are pretty good as well. So
I got Princes of the Apocalypse.
I hear that one's pretty good as well. Some of the other ones are not as good.
So, like, are you with a bunch of animated people? Are they going to be like, I'm the guy, I'm the Wicked Witch of the West?
My girlfriend's going to be playing, who you played before. That was her first time then, and we didn't really play a whole lot, so it wasn't really a first experience. It was like a half experience into D&D because we only played like 3 sessions. And I'll have a couple of new people who've never played before and a couple people who played for 8 or 9 years.
Is that? I haven't seen a D&D. I've only heard about it. Do people really get all up and animated about it, or is it just kind of like, all right, I'm rolling.
No, I mean it's more fun if you kind of get into it. If you're just like I cast it 3 damage, then fucking why bother? Like it's
right. Like that's what I'm saying. Like
it's a role-playing game. You want to kind of get into it. If you're just playing it for, you might as well just be sitting on your couch, fucking playing, The Witcher, and just going, twiddling your thumb,
grumbling like the protagonist of The Witcher,
playing fucking Heroes of the Storm, and going, okay, I'm gonna cast Moonfire now.
I can't even tell you how much I love Heroes of the Storm. I mean, I haven't won in like 3 games, but I really like that game.
Yeah, I've gotten real into it this past week. I've been playing it a lot with Ike. We've been playing it till way late in the evening.
Well, late in the evening for him is like 1 in the morning. Way late in the evening for me is like 4:30, 5 a.m.
We'll play it, and he'll be like, I need to go to bed, and it's like 1:30 my time, 4:30.
We're playing that tonight, right? Like we get some time, some game time. My podcast
before the show.
Yes, I'm so excited. It's turned into this ritual, and I love it. I mean, even though I haven't been winning, but dude, and those videos you put out, Eric, stunning. They fucking blow my mind. I mean, you turned 17 hours of footage into 3 minutes of something watchable.
Yeah, that's the point. You cut it down. You keep the funny parts. Add a little zing.
I'm impressed. We should find a way to. I went to Reddit and I was like, I should promote this. I'm like, we made a video, and everybody was like, dislike. I don't know how to post on Reddit. I'm never doing this again.
I always try that. It's like, hey, I made this thing, and it's like dislike. You didn't read the rules, banned.
That's why your account's Dunkor005.
Yeah.
And you're like 6'1". I don't know. Yeah. So don't watch. I don't know. I really have enjoyed even the matches you lose. They still seem to be enjoyable, and I don't know how Blizzard has accomplished that.
They
Because
cut all the bullshit that I hate about Dota.
well, what I guess I've only played Dota maybe once, and
I'll explain.
what's the bullshit with it?
We used to play
There's a
all
lot.
the time when it was a Warcraft 3 mod. Basically, there's like it's the same sort of thing. You pick your heroes. Certain heroes have different abilities and stuff like that. And some are, but in Dota, at least in Warcraft 3, it was never all that well balanced. There were just the good heroes, the bad heroes. This is way better balanced, I think, heroes wise.
Yeah.
And you had individual levels, so your character leveled up. So the better you played, the faster you leveled up. But if you're getting like stomped on, then you're actually hurting your team by not being high enough level to compete anymore. So you're being punished for not being good enough. There's only one map, and it's the objective is just destroy the core. There are 3 lanes. There's no other things. It's only ever that map. There's never going to be any other map. And then
You can jungle. There's things in the jungles, but
Right.
they don't do anything like they do in Heroes of the Storm.
they just give you a slight XP boost, which you can probably, if you're playing well enough, you don't need at all. But part of it is you get gold, which you can then spend on items, which the initial
hate that.
items are not that great. But what you can do is you buy multiple different items, and that builds towards other items, which are really good, which enhance your character. But you have to know these things, so you have to know beforehand, like what you're gonna how you're gonna spec your guy, what items you're gonna spec him out as, and then you got to constantly play. If you die, you lose your gold, so you're fucked. It's just a
You
pain.
can buy back into the game, which is kind of
Yeah, then
I've
you
heard it's
die-
kind of nice. Like when they're on the core, and you're like, shit, I've saved up all this money, I can buy back in, so that I'm not getting completely wrecked at the end, rather than watching them.
It sounds like a less way more complicated
It is.
version.
It is.
And so, because I've heard people call Heroes kind of the MOBA light of what a MOBA is.
And it probably is, and I fucking love it.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like they strike this balance, because easy to play, hard to master is how somebody asks me, why do you play Heroes of the Storm? And I say easy to play, hard to master. You're not thrown in the way the progression. You have to get to level 4 with a character before they give you all the skills. So they're kind of spoon feeding you, like, here's a basic guy, here's 2 or 3 skills. This is kind of how you play them, and then okay, boom, here you go.
My ultimate thing why I like Heroes above the Warcraft 3 Dota, because I haven't played any of the other ones, because I couldn't stand them, is that in Dota, in Warcraft 3, if you are behind, if they are at your, pushing your keeps, about to destroy them and hit your core, and you've barely even scratched their first line of defense, there's nothing you can do at that point. You're fucked. You just have to sit through the game or quit out because you've got nothing. In Heroes, you can grab some camps. You can do the objective. There are objectives on the map and ways to turn that around for your team.
Right.
That are really great. So you can do some really clutch things. And also the community around Dota was always a pain in the ass because nobody ever wanted you, like, there are 3 lanes and you stuck with your lane. If you ever switched the lane, you're an asshole. If your team ever got together and ganked someone, then that was bullshit. Like, there's so many like meta rules that aren't rules of the game, but people invented and decided that was the rules of the game suddenly, and I just hated playing.
But I also think part of that is bred into the game. If you look at, like you were saying with Dota, it's like, hey, you level up by yourself in your lanes, but I mean, you're getting your own personal level, so that only really encourages you to want to do stuff on your own. And that, yeah, you'd want to gang up on team fights, but at the same time, like, in Heroes, at least there's that, you might not be doing as well as I am, but we're leveling together, so you can always do better, but at least you're not suffering. I don't mind carrying you because at least you're getting abilities at the same time I'm getting abilities, so that those late game characters who have a little trouble starting up, or at least, they shine later on in the game, but everyone levels, so you don't have to worry about, well, I'm never going to get to level 18 because I fucking can't handle this.
Yeah, so I think that's really one of the most important things. They made it a team game. They made it more objective based. I know there's been quite a few matches that we were really on the ropes with, and then picked up a couple of the objectives and were able to turn the tide of battle. And then, and the other thing, like you brought up, Eric, is the fact that you can rebound from a bad start with good team play and winning a few team matches. And it's kind of not over until even Ike. I mean, you had a core down to 1% and came back from that. It just makes for a really unique style.
I played in Hero League the other day with a Felstad on my team, who someone's like, oh great, they recognize this player, they're like, he's a feeder. And the Felstad literally would fly into their towers. He would not attack anything, he would just keep flying into their towers.
So why would you feed? Tell me what a feeder is, and why would you do that?
So a feeder is a person who doesn't necessarily try to play the game. They run in, they die, they don't really think things out. Sometimes a feeder can just be somebody who's inexperienced, so they end up giving a lot of experience because whenever your hero dies, the other team gains experience. But sometimes people control by just walking into the enemy and not really bothering to attack. They just walk in and die, walk in and die. So
feeders, it's not quite derogatory. It's just somebody who can't keep their person alive.
More often than not, it's a bad term. You know, it's, oh, you're a feeder, keep doing it, dude. Like, you're awesome. No, that doesn't work. But like, this guy just kept killing himself, getting himself killed, and we're on the dragon, Dragonshire, where you get the big dragon in the center is the objective that you're trying to get. And we are just getting stomped on. They've pushed all the way into our core. We have not taken any of their towers out at all because he won't join for team fights. And I'm playing Abathur at the time. And at the very last minute, 25 minutes into the game, we managed to finally get our first dragon. We wiped all 5 of their team and then pushed through 2 sets of towers directly to the core before they had a chance to pop up, and we won.
So that's kind of the fact that can happen is actually like there's always hope, right? Like when you have no hope, a game's not fun. I was playing a first-person shooter with my brothers called Insurgency. It's kind of a realism first-person shooter, and I was getting spanked. I was not having a good time. There was no hope for me. I was just getting pounded into oblivion. But the fact that you can play this game and even up to the end, you're able to try to think of something and turn it around. And you win and lose as a team, which is always good too, because it's really easy to say, like, oh man, I really helped the team, and then if you have a bad match, you could really, well, we had kind of a bad team that time. So it really goes both ways, and I just really have I really came to enjoy the game. I could see myself playing Heroes for the foreseeable future. It's kind of one of those games like Counter-Strike where I'm going to keep coming back to it.
I also enjoy the fact that the team comp can be whatever, like the weirdest things. Again, in Dota, where it's kind of like you have bad heroes or good heroes, so generally people are going to pick the good heroes because the bad heroes don't get much play. But this one, it's like, oh, we're going to go 4 specialists who can deal with towers and 1 healer, and we won in 8 minutes, versus having to be like, healer, tank, and some kind of combination of assassins and specialists. So it's kind of nice just to make weird combos every so often, because like you said, it doesn't always have to be a winning game to be enjoyable.
And just want to remind everybody, we are streaming live on Alpha Geek Radio. If you want to join the live chat, you can. Our address is justcoolenough.com/live, and you can watch the video and join the live chat and be part of the show. I know actually we have some audio listeners and some video listeners right now, so come on, join the chat. That's always good to get some kind of like the 4th host in there, the invisible hand of podcasting. But and you could tell what kind of care Blizzard has taken in this game to make sure that you're always playing with a buddy. They almost make it not worthwhile for you to play unless you have a friend with you, with that big XP boost they give you just for logging in and playing with someone that you're a friend with. They're saying, hey, here's 50% more experience. And that has really led me over to our little group, our little community of over that you really made, Ike, for me at least, to always, when I'm going to play, I always go in there first. I'm like, hey, who's down for a game? Because it makes no sense to go there and play alone.
And they also made it really easy to find people and friend them in the game too. Right. So that if you don't have that community of friends that plays, you can find somebody and at least then you're always playing with people that you make friends. So it encourages a friendly community as well, as opposed to, man, you were 4 levels below everyone else. You suck. I don't want to play with you anymore. You're reported.
Right. Yeah. So, but good game. I'm really glad that we're playing it. I can't wait to play it tonight. So, one other game that I did pick up, and I picked up during the Steam sale and hadn't got a chance to play, was Civilization Beyond Earth, and that game, I definitely know why it has gotten lower ratings than Civilization 5. There's some weird things. So it's really a Civilization game, right? But the issue is you don't have any context of the people you're dealing with. And one of my favorite things about Civilization is the fact that like, okay, you're facing Gandhi, this guy, plays this certain way, he's a dick. Or, okay, Queen Elizabeth, blah, 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 or George Washington, he's going to act like this. And in Civilization Beyond Earth, you kind of lose. There's no historical anything for you to back, to have a predetermined
a realistic
notion.
Backstory.
Right, yeah, so you're just kind of like, you're a space colony, and there you go, you start. And all the technologies and all the everything that's in the game is made up, and it feels a lot less tangible and a lot less epic. And that's okay, but they do a really bad job at like win scenarios in this game. It's just I'm still not through. I don't have like a final verdict on it, but initially I've played it for probably about 8 hours or so, and I don't think I've enjoyed it nearly as much as when I first started playing Civilization, or Civilization 5 for that matter. And I think it has to do because of that epic scale is not there. And even if you can, be and play this robot, they've added so many extra complications into winning the game that it's like it takes away from the fun a lot. I feel like the game has really buried itself in too many option menus and micromanagement. But
the Civilization game is with too much micromanagement.
I know, right?
Her.
I know, but I think they just took it a little too far. I knew what I'm getting myself into, but it doesn't feel as fun in space, and I thought it would. So I'm looking forward to an expansion where they could fix some of these kind of usability and just add to the fun of it. So
that's where you need your Speedy F40. Every time you say the words "in space," I feel like you need to hit that button. And
I will try.
In space. Yeah, from here on out.
Okay, I'll any time that happens, I will do that. in the podcast. So, but I did play that game. Well, I had a layover in an airport, and I found a plug, and I opened up my laptop, and I played 3 hours of Civilization Beyond Earth on my laptop, and just drank some fine whiskey, and that was a good time. So it was definitely it beat the crap out of just playing, I don't know, some Bubble Bobble remix on an iPhone. So
that's why you put Hearthstone on your iPhone, my friend.
I can't actually. This is my work phone, so I can't install anything on it.
It's becoming an issue for me because when I'm out and I get bored, I start playing it. So like, I was out at 4th of July with some people I knew, and they were just standing around talking. So I grabbed my phone. I was like playing Hearthstone on the side.
What? Well, you're with people?
Well, it was 4 other adults, and there's it's my girlfriend's parents and their best friends. So they're just standing there talking to each other about I don't know what.
Dude, you were surrounded by.
So I was standing there with my drink, just like trying to be part of it, and nobody was engaging me. So I put my drink down. I just pulled my phone out, and started playing Hearthstone.
No, that is not cool.
That reminds me, I had a very productive, slightly out of character week.
Oh, I really want Eric. You have no idea how much I want to hear about this, but I just want to rag on Ike just a little bit to the fact that he's being antisocial and an asshole.
I know, that's what made me think of it. I was like,
anything else?
That sounds like something I'd do, and I had a more grown-up week.
What did you like? Did you talk to Eric too much, and like some of his antisocial behavior rubbed off on you?
That Eric
my hair's been so much. It's been rubbing off on me, and then I go to bed, and it just sinks into my brain overnight, and then I wake up.
Oh my gosh, man! I can't imagine you just start talking. I can't.
Yeah, but it's not like I'm engaged with somebody. I'm playing it. It's like
were you
nobody's
standing
gonna engage
in a circle of people, and then you just opened up your phone?
No, like there were because we were waiting for a place to sit for the 4th of July, and we got reservations for 9. So we showed up at this place at 7:30 to ensure that we were going to have our reservations for 9. So it's 4 adults, and then it's Amanda and myself, and we're just kind of standing there, and they're all talking like every time, like her father and his best friend are over here, like they're standing maybe 5 feet away from me. And I'm standing kind of around the corner, but we're all on this banister. So I walk over there eventually, kind of nonchalantly. I stand next to them, and then they move away from me, and they go back to where I was standing. So I was like, okay, I clearly can't engage in this conversation, so I'm like, screw it. I pulled out my phone and just put it on the banister railing and just started playing Hearthstone.
So
what are you looking at, Joe?
I
That's the
mean,
question. You distracted yourself.
Somebody in our Facebook chat said my link that I linked over to was giving a 404 error, so I was trying to help them out to get to justcoolenough.com/live. I don't know why it did.
You can help them out, and Eric can tell us about his slightly adult.
You can't put a capital. That's why.
Yep, I'm noticing that. No capitals. He can't hear us from here. Maybe if we yell really loud. Daniel, you can't put a capital.
It's like Catch-22. You can't get help from us because you can't hear us because you can't get to us to hear us to get help.
I wonder why we can't. I'll have to look into that. Anyway, so Eric, tell us about your fully social week.
Well, I wouldn't say fully, but Sunday was the Women's World Cup final where Team America beat the pants out of Japan.
That was fucking amazing.
I know, because I went to a bar with friends to watch it.
What?
You what?
Yeah. I went to a bar. It's called the Public House in Los Angeles. It's a pretty cool place. I've been there a few times. And I sat with some friends, and we watched...
Wait. Did they serve drinks here, or were there a bunch of books on the wall? Because you might have been at a library.
No, they would definitely serve drinks. It was just... And it was just fucking packed with people. Like, it was so crowded. I don't know that I've ever been in a more crowded place besides, like, Disneyland. And everyone there was, like, into this game. Except for, like, there was this kid with a... For some reason, he had, like full mullet going on, and he was playing, like, because all the other arcade machines were turned off upstairs except for the golf game for some reason, and he was playing that, but it was fine because he was short. And then some drunk girl decided after that kid left to start playing, but she was standing in everyone's way, so people were like, hey, fucking move. We're trying to watch. But yeah, like I sat and watched it with friends. By the way, I don't watch a lot of soccer, but goddamn, that was a good game. Like
dude,
under 3 minutes they score, under 5 minutes they score twice. I was just so good.
I've been like these are one of those things that I sit there and follow because it's World Cup soccer and it only happens once every 4 years and
America won.
Yeah. But like, oh man, that was such an amazing game. I think it's even more amazing when you could spend it with a bunch of people, because when you're in that atmosphere, like I've been to
like
games
people fucking like flip out and cheer.
Right.
Like it's I didn't know it was a thing, but when because in soccer it's unlike other sports where people constantly chanting. In soccer, mostly a group of people will play the entire game. You don't get a lot of substitutions. So people, like, when somebody actually gets pulled off, people fucking cheer and clap for them because
you only get 3. You only get 3 in World Cup soccer. So it besides the fact that it was an awesome game, I mean, we stomped on Germany really well that last week, and I'm in my hotel room yelling. Well, no, we played Germany first, Eric. I'm talking about soccer.
I think it was the Germany game where the girl was bleeding from the head after headbutting the other one, right?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. But yeah, so like, I watched that game alone in my room, and I was thinking, I'm like, man, I wish I was able to hang out with people and do this. And it just so happened that on the Sunday when that game was playing, I wasn't able to go to a bar and have that awesome experience. But my brother and I, we were basically connected via Facebook Messenger and kind of calling like play-by-play, shot-by-shot. And we were thinking after that, like how intense that was. And it's like, wow, we need to get in on the... There's nothing like being surrounded by a crowd and having their energy feed off of your energy and just the cheering and everything. Did you feel it, Eric?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely an experience that I've been to like live sporting events, so I know what what that's all about. But it's just I mean it's being in a room full of people listening to, like, watching it and feeling the energy of people just fucking lose their shit when, like, they score. It's a very different thing than just watching it. It's very similar to, like, being at a live event, but, you know, slightly more comfortable. And a nice person will bring you drinks if you buy them. But yeah, it was a fun experience. And then afterwards, we went to another bar and got dinner and just talked. And then we went to one of the people's houses and played Scrabble. So I had like a really social Sunday. It was
yeah. Eric's social Sunday.
Yeah,
It's a big day, man. Especially like for, you know, thinking about what normally would happen on a Sunday for like a normal Eric Sunday would be.
Well, my Sundays are usually pretty. That's usually when my improv team performs and stuff like that, and I usually go to shows. So it's usually Sundays.
Okay, your Sundays are your busy day.
But yeah, so
That's
also,
great.
Yesterday, I kind of got a job.
You what?
Yeah.
Eric, tell me exactly where did the bad man touch you? How much do they offer? Do you need help? Is this a signal? Do we need to send help?
Blink twice for help.
Yeah.
No, I don't know if you guys have ever been to Universal Studios, but every year during the Halloween season, they do the Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights, where because normally Universal Studios shuts down at night. Like when it gets dark, it shuts down. Unlike Disneyland, which goes to like midnight most nights, Universal goes to like 6. But during Halloween, at like they end at like 4 o'clock. But then from like 6 to midnight, it's Halloween Horror Nights, where they completely transform the park into like just this fucking horror extravaganza. And you know, they have like mazes, and they have like I went one year and they did the Walking Dead tour, where you got in the trams like it would be a studio tour, but then like they just drove down a hill and just said, "Fucking get out!" Like, get out! And we're like, what? And then, like, you have to walk through these areas where all this, like, creepy shit is, and, like, normally you drive through these places, but you're walking through, and there's, like, fucking zombies and crazy people. And, like, just the front area of the thing, it's just a bunch of fucking clowns with chainsaws that will literally just run at you and chase you around. Like, it's fucking amazing. And every year they hire people to do this. And I went yesterday on the audition for it, and pretty much got hired. It's not official yet, but I basically have the job.
So wait, like, what are you going to be a clown with a scary face?
I don't know exactly what. I think that determines later. But basically, I went to the audition, which was not. I mean, it was pretty quick as far as the audition went. It was just a really quick, like, improvised audition. And then like they're like, okay, guys, go out there and give us a second to deliberate. And then 5 minutes later, they were like, okay, if we call your number, you've moved on, and you go to costuming. And they called my number and a bunch of other people. And then some nice lady did all my measurements and stuff like that. And then I filled out my email, and they're like, okay, you'll get an email within the next 48 hours if you don't call this number. Bye. I'm like,
Bye.
Oh, bye. Yeah, I was like, shit, I think I just got a job.
Oh my gosh. So wait, what is your suit going to look like?
I have no idea. I'll find that out later. I mean, it's still not. My friend Michael, who works there, I saw him when I was like walking in. I didn't realize he was going to be there, I talked to him afterwards, and I was like, I think I got the job. He was like, yeah, if you got the golden sheet of paper and went into costuming, it's like a 90%. Like, unless something goes wrong, I basically have the job. So I'm gonna be doing like scary thing. I'm gonna be fucking scaring people.
You have to write down the stories and the things that you see, because going into an amusement park is amazing, but scaring children is even better.
Yeah. Well, it's adults mostly. I don't know how many children go. It's funny because going there during the day and night is so different, because like I said, when you go to during the day, you know, some person will just like look at, if you have a bag, they'll just kind of quickly once over look in it, and they're like, okay, and then you go through, and then like you walk in, and there's like fucking little minions from a Despicable Me, and like Woody Woodpecker, and like Frankenstein, but like, you know, like nice Frankenstein walking around, and you can take your picture. And when you go at night, it's like they check your bag, you walk through a metal detector, and you walk in, and it's just like Rob Zombie blaring, and then like crazy juggalo strippers dancing in go-go cages, and then fucking stilt walking clowns with chainsaws going, you! and like just running at you.
They have a thing here. Like, have you ever heard of Cedar Point?
Sounds super familiar.
It's one of the only things in Ohio that's worth going to. It's a roller coaster theme park in Ohio that has like has a huge amount of roller coasters, 18, maybe 20, and they are legitimate roller coasters. They are amazing. It's a great place to go. But they have Hollow Weekends.
Yeah, a lot of them do it. Like Knott's Berry Farms does Knott's Scary Farms. It's kind of become. I think Universal kind of started the trend. Now a lot of them are doing it.
It's so cool to do that because actually cool outside because it's in the fall, which is always nice.
And it's fun. And with Universal, they have they licensed out The Walking Dead, so they even have like the molds from the shows. So the zombie makeups are like zombie makeup straight from the shows.
I really just am. Slack-jawed, I think is the word, that you got a job. I can't believe. It's
only temporary though. Let's not give him too much credit just yet.
It's a seasonal gig.
No, I mean,
but baby steps.
But
my first job was a summer camp.
I don't want Eric to have a job, you know? I want him to be successful doing whatever he's doing right now. That's all. I don't want him to work a 9 to 5.
So we say, please go donate to the show. 5.
This would be like 5 to 2 a.m.
Right, yeah, so like that's what I'm saying. Anyway, if you don't want it, please keep Eric off the streets.
Well,
don't donate to just cool enough right now.
The audition was super simple, but it involved just 60 seconds of running around. It was basically the audition, and there was more to it. But
they want to see if you wheeze after you run around, and you don't get it. Or you might if you sound convincing.
It was super simple, and it just involved they're like, we're gonna play a song, and you just have to pretend to be stalking someone and get more intense, and then when the beat drops to fucking pounce and kill the dude. I was like, yeah, I can do that. But then afterwards, I'm so out of breath, and I talked to one of the guys outside, and I was like, man, I'm just so out of breath after that. He's like, yeah, fucking start jogging because it's that for 8 hours. And I was like,
oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah. I was like, yeah. I should get in better shape for this.
That's what makes Eric sound more scary. It was like, no,
could you give me a drink of water? Oh God, I'm hyperventilating. Yeah. Eric, settle down. Someone get this man. Eric, go to the medical tent. It's like you think it's part of your
act. Dead.
He was he was blue-lipped and just super white.
Because I don't think they're gonna let me scare a person and then go, you just give me a minute. Oh God.
That's pretty scary though. You could be legitimate scary guy, help me, I'm having a heart attack, and everybody's scared around you. You're like, just kidding. I'm just working at a theme park.
I'm going for a different type of scary where I'm just I'm passed out in the middle of the road, and people don't know if it's a bit or if I'm actually passed out. And if I am passed out, if they should call for help now, or because if they call for help, then they might shut down the park. And what if somebody else called for help? They don't want. It's like that thing in Los Angeles.
Right, you don't want to be a witness for that. Then you got hours and hours of paperwork and testimony.
If that guy's dead, then you're gonna have to talk to the police or something, and then deal with that. Like when somebody has a heart attack on the train, and people just roll them off the train,
Just dump them off.
Yeah.
Put them on the third rail. Let them cook for the rats.
Yeah.
Nobody liked that guy anyway. He was smelly. Eric, so did they ever set you down and was so where do you see yourself in 5 years for Universal?
No, but they did that when I tried the studio tour thing, which wasn't even an audition. They're like, hey, how you doing? Fine. Why do you want to do this? Great. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? I'm like, okay, bye. And I'm like, what? That was the extent. That's how quick the interview for studio tour went. And then I was like, and I didn't get it because it's just hey, how's it going? Well, anyways, bye. And I was like, what? And because I think
that is the dumbest question when they ask you, why do you want to be? I tried to get a job working as a trash guy, going around my town and picking up trash when I was leaving for a job once. And I went in for an interview, and that was one of the questions, so why do you want to go around picking up trash? I don't know, because I need a damn job. That would be a good place to start.
I thought my thing was I was pretty slick. I was they're like, why do you want to work here? I was like, well, I love movies, so getting paid to stand around and talk about movies all day sounds pretty fucking awesome. And I think he liked that response.
Did you drop the F-bomb? Please say
I probably didn't. I doubt that I did.
Okay, good. I
He didn't
mean,
deny it though. He was
I've
just
I can't even begin to tell you how many interviews that I've been on and just killed it. Like I'm not good at a lot of things, but I am really good at job interviews. And if you drop an F-bomb, you got to be in certain company. So that's just like you're probably interviewing
get
for
a feel for the crowd.
it's like an after interview kind of thing. Like
We
I
hired
don't
him because we thought he didn't have a potty mouth, but now every other word out of his mouth is the F-bomb.
Oh man, Eric, it's like we live opposite lives though. I've been, like I said at the start of the show, I started a company when I was 12 called Joe Snowblow and Grassmow, and I've been working and doing things ever since. And I've done everything from like stock shelves to work in pharmacies and do all everything in between and work in factories and stuff. But to hear you getting a job, I just keep coming back to that in my head. It's like, wow, we really have to do good on this show because I feel like I'm letting you down, like somebody like Eric just his aspirations. He finally broke down and got a job. That's what happened, guys.
No, but I got a
the show
job
didn't have enough listeners. He's just like, I can't do it.
It's not like I'm working at a grocery store or something. Like this is this fucking awesome job, and it's exactly where I want. Like I've said that before. Like I don't need a job, but so when I got a job, it would be something that I wanted to do or something that's in line with what I want to do with the rest of my life. I mean, I'm not going to spend the rest of my life doing this, but this is something. It's fun. I get money. I get to do some performance stuff.
It is kind of cool.
I get to put it on a fucking resume. And use that on a resume that I want to use, like not like I worked.
I can type 140 words per minute. I'm proficient at bagging groceries.
And I can scare the pants off someone and run down the street with a chainsaw.
I can type at 500 words a minute. I'm a skilled grocery bagger, and I made a 16-year-old boy shit his pants in front of his girlfriend.
High five.
Using only a clown mask and a chainsaw without a blade on it.
So, Eric, where do you see yourself in 5 years, though?
In 5 years, I see myself going full John Wayne Gacy.
Oh, this kid's got talent and spunk. Put him on the short list, Johnson.
Yeah. You're talking to the next CEO of this financial establishment.
We need an out-of-the-box thinker like you. Have you done any odd jobs?
Yeah.
Have you been on any excellent podcasts?
Yeah.
If you guys want to be on, if you guys want to be on an excellent podcast, email our show, and we'll send it to somebody else. But if you want to,
at the show at justcoolenough.com, which is our email address, and maybe get that read out on air.
Yeah, really, we'll read just about anything.
Yeah,
unless it sucks.
We're not picky.
I mean, like,
I think we've just about anything.
Right, just about everything. You really have to screw up for us not to read the emails. Like,
that far-fetched.
I mean, we've even considered reading some spam mails. We might have done that on the show before.
Probably. At least once. I know for a fact we did it at least one time.
Well, that one was funny, though. It was English was clearly not their first language, and it was copy-pasted, so. But
yeah, but they were just it was my uncle. He was from Botswana, and he needed to borrow some money. I don't understand why you guys couldn't help me chip in.
Problem is, a lot of the spam we get is in Chinese caricatures. I don't know what our calligraphy or whatever the term is for words that aren't the typical sort of English numeral whatever based thing. So we get all this spam that's like
it's all in simplified Chinese.
Yeah, so I don't read.
Turns out we've been getting a crap ton of fan mail. We just never.
We got a lot of fans in China who send us mail in kanji, which is great, but they should know better. They should know that we don't read it.
I've sent 20 emails, and those guys have never read any of them in the last 5 years. I'm so angry.
Just Cool Enough is huge in China. No, this is like when stars from the U.S. go over and do commercials. Like, we're huge in China.
You're gonna get Kim Jong-un's gonna send us an invite.
Oh yeah, our great leader.
We'll go over to North Korea too.
The glorious leader of best China or best Korea.
Best Korea. North Korea is best Korea. I have a bone to pick with you guys though. You guys said you hated the beach.
Oh, I hate the beach.
Last week, I'm listening to the show last week, and you're like, I hate the beach. And I'm sitting there. Like,
I don't remember that. I say a lot of garbage on this show.
well, no,
I do remember that because I repeat it quite often.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I heard scorn in your voice for the beach, and it's like, why? Why do you hate the beach? And then you're like, it's like, it's sandy and it's rough and it gets everywhere. And I'm just like, that's not a reason. That's a Star Wars quote. Like, tell me, like, I need to refute this.
That was my legitimate reason.
Because sand gets everywhere?
So here's the thing, and I only found this out, literally found this out like a week or two ago. Tell me if this happens to you. When I go in the ocean, and then I come out of the ocean, and I put a shirt, like I dry off, and then I put a shirt on, for some reason, it feels like people are stabbing me with tiny little pins every time I go in the ocean. I thought it had something to do with like the salt still being on my skin and catching on my shirt. But it just annoys the hell out of me. And I found out recently that apparently this is the only experience that I personally seem to have, and that nobody else does. So some people are like, well, maybe it's the sand gets on your skin, and then you put your shirt on, it just rubs the wrong way, because that could be kind of... I'm like, no, there's always been the salt water. And then I don't like sand. I don't like sand between my toes. I don't like sand, because then it gets all over your towel.
Of course.
And
gets everywhere.
Sand gets everywhere. You get in the weirdest places. I get in places I didn't even know I had till later on when I take a shower, and like half the beach falls out onto the bottom of the shower. So I don't really like the beach. I will take a pool in the backyard any day.
Okay, you know what?
And I don't understand why people like laying in the sun. It's hot. It's super hot. It's super boring.
Okay,
I get why people like laying.
I get the sun thing. Like, they're just laying out in the sun and just roasting there all day. I don't understand that. I mean, like, you don't do that with the cold. It's like, right? You don't like just sit out and just freeze. Like, oh man, I'm gonna get my freeze on. I'm gonna jump out. You know what? What is it, like 20 degrees out? Let me just jump out there.
That's the time that you need to go sunbathing. Yeah, because all the reflected sun off the snow, you'll get a nice even tan all the way around, and you don't get super hot because you're sitting out in the snow. That's
I
when
prefer
you go
the cold,
sunbathing.
but the beach thing. You know what?
The cold
I
doesn't
think.
bother me anyway.
God damn. Shit, I don't even know where I was going. You just derailed my thought. It was like you cast something on me, or I don't even know. But oh yeah, that's the variable that I didn't understand, and it's the fact that you have to deal with salt water because you're on the East Coast. And Eric, you said you don't like the beach, even though you're 45 minutes away, because it takes a long time for you to drive there, which is a bullshit reason.
I didn't say it.
You're like, I gotta go in the car for 40 minutes and win.
I don't believe I said I hate the beach, but then I say a lot of shit on this show.
You did say that you hate the beach.
You did say that. You said that last week. I'm like, I can't believe.
And I felt like I had found a kindred spirit, even though we didn't hate the beach for necessarily the same reason. At least we were solidarity with hating the beach together.
I love the shoreline. I'll call it that, because
it's nice to look at from a distance or see in paintings.
The Great Lakes are the best lakes. They're not only great, but they're the best. It's like the North Korea.
Not a step down.
No, because
you're the best at this. Well, I'm the greatest at this. I feel like you've just taken them down a notch because it's not the best lakes. It's the greatest lakes. There are no other.
They're not the meh lakes. No, Great Lakes. We don't have to deal with any of that bullshit sand, and they've cleaned it up a lot. I mean, there is a lot of sand you could deal with if you want, but it's not in the water. There's not salt in the water. So when you get out, you have to deal with some sand on your feet. No big deal. You just hose it off, and then you're good to go. And you don't always smell like jet fuel or ocean liner cargo holds and stuff.
But I feel like the distance from going from like the front of the beach to my car, it's sand everywhere. It gets on my feet, and then I get my car and I take half the beach in my car with me on my feet, and it doesn't float my boat.
The salt water doesn't float your boat.
Ironically, yeah. I mean, salt usually helps keep things buoyant, but not in this case. I don't like it.
Anyway, I think we should stop talking about the beach, Eric. So why don't you take us away here?
Well, how about we plug each other?
All right.
I guess my plug for this week is you can always follow me on Twitter, Duncor, DUNCOR.
My plug for this week is a site called Ninite. It is NINITE, and what it lets you do is, if you're building a new computer you go to this site right here, and you can pick basically all the programs that you want to install, and it pre-installs everything in one installer, and just it is game-changing for rebuilding computers and building computer systems. Go check it out. It is ninite.com. Ninite, Ninite.com. Go check it out. They are amazing. It is awesome. And as always, we want to pay thanks to our Shout Engine host, shoutengine.com. Go and start a podcast in under 5 minutes. And a new thanks to Alpha Geek Radio for hosting our live stream in our IRC chat channel. You could join the show live each week here on justcoolenough.com/live. Make sure it's lowercase with the L. Ike, what do you got?
I actually have two things. One's actually some news that you reminded me about a plug that I made a few weeks ago. For those people that have been listening before we started here on Alpha Geek Radio, I put out a thing on our Facebook and whatnot about trying to promote the band that I know called Sick Vita. They were trying to get a certain percentage on the Warped Tour site in order to get into Warped Tour, and they made it. They are playing Warped Tour on the 14th here in Massachusetts.
That's
So
great.
I want to thank everyone who took some time to go and click on the link and listen to a song or two or share it or make a comment, because I'm sure it really helped him when they got in. But my actual plug before you get to talk, Joe, is go check out on Kickstarter if you are a fan of using your iPhone for photography, like I am. You might want to check out the Olloclip Studio. Olloclip makes little cool lenses that you clip on the edges of your iPhones. I use them a lot. They have like stuff for portraiture and macro lenses and things like that. Well, Olloclip they started with a Kickstarter, and now they have another Kickstarter running for Olloclip Studio, which helps kind of turn your little iPhone into a better handheld kind of studio type camera setup, where you can clip on flashes, and you can it has this little holder, so you can do it with one hand and take pictures with one hand instead of having to hold both hands and hold them together. They make these really cool little like iPhone lenses.
Cool, guys.
Go check that out. Kickstarter, Olloclip Studio.
Well, I'd say that's some good plugging, guys.
Yep. Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. You can always follow us on various social medias, or you can go to our website, justcoolenough.com. But until next week, thank you guys so much for listening, and fuck off.
Wow, dude, it's our first week on Alpha Geek, and you're gonna say the F off word?
I'm
What
not
about
gonna
all the new
curtail.
listeners?
I'm not gonna curtail my.
He's got to kind of pretend he's something he's not.
Why? With the new listeners.
Then they know exactly what to expect.
That's great. Jerk, asshole.
Here's
Mean
the
guy.
storm.
Heroes of the Storm, let's play.